In this video I'll take you on board of an Austrian Railjet train. The journey starts in Villach, where I arrive with a train from Slovenia. And today I'll be traveling in business class, the highest class you can find in the Railjet trains. But obviously I'll show you all other comfort categories as well you can find on board of this train. Join me along this beautiful ride through the Austrian Alps to Munich, Germany's third largest city. Join me on board of this Railjet train that I took from Villach in Austria, where I arrived with a train from Slovenia, to here in Munich. For now, let's get this video on the track and let's roll the intro. For most of my trip reports I start off by showing the railway station where this railway journey started. For this I arrived from Slovenia, from Ljubljana to be exactly, with a Eurocity train to Villach. And this is a tight straight connection, so cross-platform. My other train was already waiting at the platform, and apart from that there was a small delay. Thank goodness the train to Munich, so the Railjet here on the left, waited for the connection. But showing the railway station, well, no chance of that, so I have to get creative. So I use my good old friend Google. At the front of the railway station, as you can see here on Google Street View, there are some bus stops, a taxi stand and a pick-up and drop-off zone for railway passengers by car. And if you arrive here by bike, well, plenty of spots where you can park your bike. But most likely if you watch this video, you're not from Villach anyway. At the main concourse you find an underground passage where you find access to the platforms, and around the main concourse there are plenty of shops, railway related services, etc. And it seems like there are many other shops a little bit more to the back. There is no first class lounge at this railway station. However, at the railway station of Klagenfurt, where our train actually started, you will find a first class lounge. I really like these paintings at the sides of the main concourse, and when I look at the ceiling, this also seems like a pretty old building. They kept it pretty modern. I guess this might be the shortest station review I ever did, at least for a railway station that's not that small. Back to my train for today. I was really happy that the train was waiting, but filming the exterior was also a bit challenging. I just basically walked straight to my seat within the train because, well, it could depart any moment. And even though my connecting train started with a small delay, basically because it was waiting for the train from Ljubljana, we arrived early at the railway station of Munich. Our train makes a longer stop at the railway station of Salzburg, and over there I filmed the exterior of the train. You find three different classes: business class, first class and second class. And it has been clearly marked at the side what class can be found where. Also, the zones have been marked crystal clear at the side. For example, the quiet zone. Business class is only a small section within the Railjet trains. And this is basically a part of the first class where you pay an extra supplement. This supplement comes including a free drink, more comfortable and wider seats, and just a little bit more service. Depending on the entire ticket price and what business class seat you get, and obviously the length of the journey, I think it really depends if it's worth the extra price or not. I'll get back to this in a bit when I show you the business class. There's also a really nice dining car within this train, and the dining car is located between the second and the first and business class. At the side you find clear digital screens that will host route information, so this hosts the train number, stops along the way, final destination, etc. These are the first generation Railjet trains. Nowadays you also find more modern Railjet trains. Well, they have their pros and cons. But, well, I'll probably make another video about that another day. For now, let's focus on these trains here, and these Railjet trains do have a top speed of 230 km per hour. Although during this train ride, the top speed would only be 160 km per hour. What is still not that slow, to be honest. This is a locomotive hauled train. On one side of the train you will find the engine, so the locomotive, and at the other side you will find the control car. The travel time between Villach and Munich is by car, train and plane roughly the same. However, when it comes to the environmental impact, the train is the absolute winner, obviously. This data shows the environmental impact if you're traveling by train, car and plane on this route. The train is 98% less polluting than taking the plane on the same route. The plane on this route just doesn't make any sense at all. The aviation industry is talking a lot about becoming more sustainable, and yes, they are doing this a little bit. And even though I'm not a big fan of the aviation industry, that's the least I could say, I fully support every little step they take to become more sustainable. But this counts for basically all industries. But even then, the aviation industry might talk a lot about sustainability, but just look at the numbers, they're not sustainable at all. And especially the aviation industry is growing, something that's just not okay at all. One of the arguments of the aviation industry is, for example, how they benefit to the economical development. And partially this is absolutely true. However, they don't take in account the extra medical costs for people that need more healthcare services because of pollution of the aviation industry, and also the extra costs for climate change. It's impossible to count the total costs for this. However, you don't need to study rocket science to come with opposite arguments than what the aviation industry brings you. And of course, I know that not flying is not realistic at all, so yeah, that doesn't count. And when it comes to pollution, I think we should start with the big companies. But the fact is, and especially for the aviation industry, the only way to reduce emissions is to reduce demand. I hope you like this video so far. If you do so, or if it's a helpful video to you, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. If you have any questions, or even if you just want to say hello, some comments, some feedback, please let me know in the comments. And if you'd like to see more trip reports about like this channel is mainly focusing on long distance and international traveling to show you what it's like to travel on a more sustainable way of transportation, then hit the subscribe button if you haven't done this already. For now, let's continue with this video. And let's have a close look at the interior of the train. I'll now start off with the second class, what's also mentioned as economy class. Standard class would have made more sense to me, but hey, this is just me. I guess calling it economy class makes it easier to upsell people to first and business class. If you're traveling with a bike on board of these trains, that's possible, you find some dedicated bike racks. However, keep in mind a reservation for the bike is obligated. Close to the bikes you find some seats, and these seats are for people who travel with the bike. So if you make this reservation, you will probably have a seat close to your bike as well. Seat reservations has been given at small digital screens right above the seats, and here you also find the seat numbers. Most seats in second class, or economy class as they call it, do come in an airline style composition. There's a small but sturdy fold-out table in the seat in front, a magazine rack, a litter bin, and all seats do have their reading lights. Actually, this is way better to film like this if I turn on the lights. Armrests between the seats can be adjusted, and there's one power socket per 2 seats in economy or second class. All windows do have a sunscreen, and unfortunately these seats are not reclinable. For luggage, obviously you find the overhead luggage racks throughout the train, but within the carriages there are special dedicated luggage racks as well. And the zones have been marked crystal clear. For example, here is the family zone. At the moment the seats do face each other, there's always a bigger table in between in the Railjet trains, but in this situation the table will host some board games, so you can play some games along the way. Traveling by train is in general fun for kids, but this makes it even more fun, I guess. There's also a small cinema, what is very useful if people don't put their luggage in there, and if you fold out these tables here, it's slightly bigger. Litter bins are located within these tables. Also, before you go to the different compartments in the second class, it has been clearly marked what area you're entering. At the vestibules near the family area, there's some extra space for buggies, as you can see over here, so you don't have to put it in the cinema area. And the toilet in the family area part of the train is slightly different. It's a bit more colorful, and this is also a diaper changing facility for if you're traveling with a little baby. Apart from the many dedicated luggage racks, at the moment the seats do face each other, at least the backends, you can also store some luggage over there. There are plenty of displays within this train that will host route information, and this is all very clear on Austrian trains, I have to say. What way to go to for the dining car have been marked crystal clear. Dining cars are in general my favorite part of trains. However, for this ride it was pretty busy, so I didn't film there. It was pretty busy in general, so filming I didn't feel that comfortable about it. This is why the footage is not as good as it should be. Anyway, this here is the dining car. The menu selection is really good. And even though you pay a bit more on trains, the prices are very reasonable as well. Right next to the dining car you find the first class, and this here is the disabled area of the first class. Right next to this there's also a bigger accessible toilet that I also didn't put very well on camera. Also, the bigger disabled toilet can be used as a diaper changing facility if you're traveling with a little baby. Between the accessible area in the first class and the rest of the first class, you'll find an information point. Here you find in general stuff, and I think it all speaks for itself. If you want some extra information, you can go here. The rest of the first class is like this. It's a bit more comfortable than the second class, the seats are a bit wider, and you have more leg room. Apart from that, you also find more power sockets within the first class. There are some seats facing each other with a table between the seats, but most seats do come in an airline style composition. Let me turn on the light, at least the reading light, to film. It's a bit easier, especially if it's dark outside. There's a bigger and sturdy fold-out table in the seat in front, a magazine rack, a food rest and a litter bin also located in the seat in front of me. Power sockets are integrated within these seats, and there's one power socket per seat. Just like everywhere, you find a sunscreen, and information about reservations will be given in the luggage racks. There's a small section in first class that's a quiet zone as well. This has been marked crystal clear. And right behind the quiet zone you will find the business class, divided by a small pantry and a curtain. The prices for business class are basically the same as first class, with an addition €15. If you have a short journey, this is absolutely not worth the money, but for a longer journey this definitely might be. Within the business class area there's also a toilet, and this is basically how the regular toilets are as well. Nothing really special. Once again, I asked you so many times, if you know a train that has special toilets, let me know in the comments. One downside for the business class though, this comes mainly in compartments. If you're traveling as a solo traveler and, this way, I think you have less freedom than if you just have a first class seat at the solo section of the first class carriage. However, these seats are really comfortable. There are tons of screens with information about the route over here, and you just have a lot of space in general. I was traveling in one of the two seats that was not in a compartment, and if I fully recline these seats, I still have more than enough leg room, and I have to say I'm a very tall guy. There's a really sturdy fold-out table located in the armrest, and also a small extra table at the side or in front of you. All seats do have a reading light, you can adjust this as well. And what else should I say? Oh yeah, of course, I shouldn't miss out on the sunscreens you find all over the train, obviously. For the new generation Railjet trains, the business class is all in compartments, and personally I don't really like that. The menu selection on board of these trains, like I already mentioned before, is really good, and the prices are very reasonable, especially for on a train. In business class, and as far as I know also in first class, you also have the service of the dining car right at your seat. How comfortable is that? Especially at the moment the dining car is really busy. One drink is also included if you're traveling in business class, by the way. And for a journey that takes around 4 hours and 25 minutes, I think it's worth every penny to pay a little bit extra for the business class, especially for the seat I had. The seats in the compartments, I don't like that, unless I have this to myself and my travel companions. Free Wi-Fi is available. This is not just an internet connection, but it also links your mobile device to an onboard portal where you can find movies, read magazines, newspapers, etc. This map shows where you can find the Railjet trains. These are basically the intercity trains for Austria. You'll find them obviously in Austria, but also Germany, Switzerland, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary and Italy. For the last bit of the video I'll show you some views from the train along the beautiful Austrian Alps. The views will be until the railway station of Salzburg. From Salzburg it was too dark to film, but at least I catch the most beautiful part of the route on film. So here we are, Munich. And there's a saying that trains in Germany on general not on time. I can confirm this because we are about 5 minutes early. I haven't got this experience. Actually a really smooth ride, really beautiful through the Alps. I traveled on this route one time before, but it was a long time ago, way before there was even YouTube, I think. And that was also at night, so it was really nice to see this again. I hope you liked this video or this has been helpful to you. If so, please give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, main focus for the channel is cross-bordering and long-distance traveling. This is both. Then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done this already. If you have any questions, if you want to say hello, feel free to leave a comment. And before I really end up this video, one last thing. Once again, thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in other videos, of course you can find them on this channel, and if you want to see new videos, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because there will be new videos obviously. And if you want to see specific videos for specific routes, in the link of this video you find a link to a map where you find it all as well.